So here's my final question for you. What question should I have asked you that I did not ask you?
Oh my
What's
goodness.
yeah, nothing easy.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I think fundamentally it's really important that folks have their basic necessities and needs taken care of first. So I'm all for fair pay. And you and I had talked
Mm,
briefly before this podcast about the strikes that are happening. And
yes.
so, what I think needs to happen for folks before they can get to these pieces is that they have to feel like they're paid a fair wage where they can afford the basics that they need in order to live, to take money off the table. Once money is not an issue, people can
Mm.
then be engaged and they can give you all that they can at work. But until that happens, there's a block.
That is a question I meant to ask you because this engagement kind of question, at least from what I'm hearing, I don't know. I'm not involved with the UAW strike. I haven't had a chance to speak with anybody from there. But I do have a pretty good client that handles the unions in Canada. And their feeling was that when the workers conceded, gave their pay raises back and gave a lot of those things, they felt engaged. They felt like they were going to own part of that company. They
Mhm.
were engaged by it. But then
Mhm.
when they didn't get it, but yet other people in the upper chains were getting it, and they didn't get the return of it, they lost their engagement.
Mm. Yeah.
So even if they match the money now that they want, how will they ever get that feeling of engagement back anymore?
Mm.
I mean, how many more years? 30 years before they say, okay, we trust you again?
Yeah. There's a piece in there that I think is twofold. One, they're probably not feeling recognized
Yeah.
for their work, right? And that recognition can come in the form of, "Hey, I wanna have this conversation with you. I think I'm your supervisor. What you're doing is really impactful and it's important and it drives the business forward, and thank you so much for doing it." There's that conversation for feeling recognized, to be seen, heard, and valued. But then on the other side, there's this lack of ownership. And what I say is like, when you give someone ownership over projects and tasks, you give them that autonomy. Not only are they going to feel ownership over that project, once
Hmm.
they've accomplished this thing, they now feel ownership over the company to some degree without owning stock. They feel a sense of ownership and pride. I did this. I completed this. I got an opportunity to shine in front of others. And so I feel like I owned that. Especially as long, you have to give them credit. You cannot take that credit away and give it to yourself, right? You have to give that credit where credit is due. And I don't think they're being given credit where credit is due. Is there ask for ownership in the company? It is part of monetary compensation. And so
Right.
right now they're feeling this is I think it's a reaction to being treated unfairly. This is
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah.
all of this time we've been doing all these important things for the business. You haven't given us recognition and now and you haven't even given us enough pay that we need to cover our bills, but instead it's a betrayal. You gave it to somebody else and not us when we are your bread and butter. And now this is a little bit of a payback time. So it's now we're going to ask for this. But had the company and the supervisors from the very beginning given them pay where pay was not a concern, enough pay where pay was not a concern, treated them with respect and trust, reciprocal respect, given them that recognition and given them ownership over things in the company to feel it, to be recognized, to be feeling like they are contributing, they wouldn't
Wow.
be asking for this. I don't think they'd be asking for this.
They wouldn't need to. They would not need to.
Yeah.
No, and I know I said just one more question 5 questions ago, but this is something because it just came in my mind that you filled us with so much knowledge and so much wisdom. And people really do need to get the training. So you did a lot of the what and the coaching. Sound like you did some coaching, but it sounds like that's where your expertise lies in is coaching. So here's the question that you ask, and I want to ask you. So for Leading with Joy, is
Mhm.
that's the name of your organization, right? Leading with
Right.
Joy. What is the passion for Leading with Joy? What's your
Mm.
passion?
Yeah. So it was I took a leap of faith leaving a 22-year job
Oh
where I
yeah.
was the COO and I was the second full-time employee hired on after the family that started it. I took a leap of faith and I think what I've given myself is the ultimate test, right? I have ultimate autonomy right now because I'm a solopreneur and I am going toward mastery of this. So I am finding myself very fulfilled by being on my own, by building something on my own, by going with my passions and what I love to do most. And so that's it.
Okay, love that very much. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I'll give you the final word.